Now there's this line in this Carlos Santana hit entitled Maria Maria that says, "The rich is getting richer, the poor is getting poorer." And that's what's essentially happening in today's National Basketball Association. It seems like the legitimate competitors are getting the lion's share of the better players because everyone, after all, is chasing a championship. If you can't beat them, join them. And these players don't find the shame in doing just that. During the trade deadline, Aaron Gordon from the Orlando Magic went to the Denver Nuggets, which has a stacked wing rotation. This addition will help them compete with the best of the Western Conference. Even Evan Fournier is seen as the guy that will improve the Boston Celtics' outside shooting. But what's more egregious are the developments after the buyouts of both LaMarcus Aldridge and Andre Drummond. Aldridge secured his buyout from the San Antonio Spurs in a season wherein he was still averaging 13.7 points and 4.5 rebounds a game. He's not the same all-star that he once was, but knowing that his career might be winding down, he joined the Brooklyn Nets for the vet minimum of all teams. Really, LaMarcus? You signed with the Spurs because you wanted to prolong the dynasty that had Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker? Now you're taking the easy way out? What's the shame in that? Say all you want, but the Nets have more stars than probably constellations in the sky as of the moment. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving teamed up initially, and James Harden joined via trade. Those three alone makes them alone the title favorites for this season. But they pulled off a coup by even getting Blake Griffin, who might have missed a step or two already, but is still a serviceable player at least. They didn't stop at 4, and they even got the nerve to get Aldridge. That's 5 All-Stars in one team. Anyone can explode on any given night, even Blake Griffin on a lucky day, or even LaMarcus Aldridge if he's feeling it. He can just explode for at least 20 points in any given night. So with those 5 players alone, you can get 100 points easy, any given game. We haven't even mentioned the Andre Jordan for crying out loud, so that's how deep that Nets rotation is. Imagine the luxury that head coach Steve Nash has with his rotation. He might have Griffin and Aldridge coming off the bench. He might surprise opponents of having both players on the starting rotation. And in bigger lineups, he can have Jordan and Aldridge together on the floor at the same time, just to discourage the guards of the other team to penetrate down the lane. They'll make the most of their spot minutes, I'm talking about Griffin and Aldridge, just to be able to keep the Nets' onslaught going. And by God, this is an onslaught that must scare the rest of the NBA. Worst, they can opt to rest some of their all-stars against weaker teams. Like, they can sit Harden for a few games. Irving, they can sit also for a few games. Also Harden, or might as well Kevin Durant, do that. And they can still win big against weaker teams, weaker opponents. And that's what's scary about them. But just when the Nets seem to acquire the Infinity Stone for parity in the NBA, the Lakers responded by signing Andre Drummond after a buyout as well from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Drummond did have a tweet a decade ago saying that he wanted to play with LeBron James, and he will be getting his wish, albeit delayed because, as we all know, James won't be back soon due to injury. But even if the King won't be returning soon, Drummond provides stability to the Lakers' front court while both James and Anthony Davis are still out. So holding the fort for the Lakers right now, Montrezl Harrell, Marc Gasol, and new addition Andre Drummond, who, let's face it, is a rebounding monster, and that's essentially what the Lakers need if they are to stave off any losing streak without James and Anthony Davis. Drummond can command top dollar, let's face it. He's still young, he has the talent, he can command top dollar. You can even get that $28.5 million trade exception from the Boston Celtics if he wanted to. But what does he do? Join one of the better teams in the NBA. With these two moves, Aldridge and Drummond might as well offer a silence for competitive balance in the league, because it might never come back soon. The only chance that an average or mediocre NBA team have to compete is to potentially draft an All-Pro or a potential Hall of Famer down the road. Because via trade, nobody's coming to them, and more importantly or more egregiously, their better players are going to the stronger teams because they cannot compete. And these stars would rather complain that they want to compete for titles or higher accolades than to rot in these weaker teams in hopes of developing the roster around them. Sure, the fans of the Nets and the Lakers are thrilled with these signings, but there should be some shame in these players that they're buying their way to the championship. If both signings click, a Nets-Lakers finals matchup will be a mere formality on how they slanted the competition to their favor. It won't be surprising if they dominate in their final push to the playoffs. With rosters this deep, do you expect them losing in the final games of the regular season? They are expected to win. There's pressure to win, and they have rosters to do so. So expect them to sweep the competition as they go to the finals or deep into the playoffs. That finals matchup, Nets versus Lakers, may increase the NBA's ratings because of star power. But I know I'm not the only one that's fed up with this fraternizing with fellow players, all this kumbaya and all this friendship that does not just translate off the field but also in it, that they have the nerve to join each other rather than compete against each other. But to join forces to lift the Larry O'Brien trophy? Give me a break. That's a different thing. Where is the competitive balance in the NBA now? So, here's a tribute to competitive balance in the NBA. The Nets and the Lakers just killed you. Even if you don't know it, you're dead, at least for now. I wish there was a way to give justice to your death, but I'm wishing for your resurrection in the NBA after this super team era is over. Maybe time comes when, just like Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time, you can say the words, "I'm back." If you like this video, please like it, share it, subscribe to the What's on Sports YouTube channel for more videos coming soon. Once again, this has been your sports nerd Lance Fernandez that always tells you, life is a ball. Never give up until the final buzzer.